What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we're hopping into Green Lantern Corps issue number 7 and part of the Starbreaker supremacy. With this being part 2, Starbreaker has accomplished his goal. All emotion has been wiped away from the universe. And with its disappearance, Starbreaker and his new corps, they reign supreme. They hold the power. Starbreaker would argue that what he's doing, it's merely a mercy. Now that their emotions are gone, they're not going to be plagued with fear of impending doom. When that doom comes for them, they will just stare up into the void. This is where we see Starbreaker destroying an entire planet. Now that the worlds have been dulled, nothing is to stop them from consuming all of the suns. All this powering their souls, bringing all of his siblings into existence permanently. The only question that now remains, who's next? This is what takes us over to JOHN STEWART. We have John's ring that is talking to him. It's trying to tell him that people are being killed. But John, he's emotionless. He doesn't care either way. He tells his ring that you're just a ring that he said was imbued with the essence of his mother, but that was a lie. One that nobody challenged, really out of fear of the truth. But now that all emotion is gone, there is no reason to pretend it is anything more than his pain and regret made manifest. This is where his ring's like, hell no, dude. Like, we're not playing this game. And his ring, it takes off. This is where we pick up with Jadestone and Aya. With them not being human, they're able to maintain everything that they are. They're witnessing the destruction of all these suns, of the universe being ripped apart. And so while they're trying to figure out what to do, this is where JOHN STEWART's ring comes to them. And it has to ask the question that just because we're not connected to the emotional spectrum doesn't mean that we're not feeling what we're feeling. Kind of asking the question of what is real? Are we real? Are we real because we exist and the only difference between us and them is what we're made of? We're all programs in some way, shape, or form. Some organic, some others. But existential debate set aside, these are about the only two people concerned about what is actually happening. Humans without their emotions. They're essentially left defenseless. And so we explain it to them the only way that they're going to be able to figure it out. We use reason. We use logic. And so they gather all the heroes they can, all the top lanterns. Gathering all of them together, JOHN STEWART's ring begins to explain the whole situation. It goes on to say that when JOHN STEWART was connected to the source, he was linked to all that the source was, including the source wall. And though he could never consciously decipher everything that he knew, as his ring, he could glean far more. And in that, it felt something. The entities. The living embodiment of the emotional spectrum. These are like the living avatars of every emotion, and they're calling out for help. The ring believes that these entities are still alive. Now, some would argue that that's gotta be incorrect information, because Kyle Rayner, he used them to replenish the source wall. But he says that's not exactly how it went down. Imbued with the immense amount of power as the White Lantern, he pulled the relic and the emotional entities into the source wall. Not long after, he was able to escape, but couldn't remember what happened. What really happened. Now, disconnected from the emotional spectrum, everything's so clear to him. The entities use their power to send him through, to find a way to break them out of the source wall. That is their end goal here. Whether they knew about Starbreaker or not, it appears that the emotional spectrum has been calling out for some time. And if you've been following any Green Lantern story for the last 2 years, you know that that is damn well true. The emotional spectrum has been wrecked for quite a while. Whatever's going on with them, that's gotta be the problem. Or at least that's what we're going to associate the problem with, it looks like, moving forward. And so really what they're thinking is that the entities, they must have been messing with all the powers of everybody from the other side, manipulating the emotional spectrum, trying to send out a signal, trying to let people know like, hey, we need some help. This is where we see our heroes reach the source wall, the edge of all reality as we know it. And can we take a moment just to absolutely appreciate the source wall? It is so fantastic. One of the most terrifying but beautiful depictions ever. Like, imagine this is at the edge of all reality as we know it. Just a wall encapsulating the most terrifying beings that your mind could possibly imagine. Any chance we get to see the source wall, I always absolutely love it. And we've seen a couple of different kind of depictions of the source wall over the years. But no matter what you really prefer, you gotta admit that this is freaking awesome. But our heroes, they're not really sure how they're supposed to free the entities. The bigger problem that they're about to face is that Starbreaker is here. A gigantic version of him. He's able to grab their ship with a single hand. And at this point, they don't know what the heck they're gonna do, but John Stewart's ring, it says full power to the thrusters. Regardless of the source wall before them, it says to do it. Well, they think it might destroy them, but what if John Stewart told the ring is true about phase shifting? If this works, they'll go right through the source wall, and so blasting through it. At first, it's nothingness. Pure darkness. But then we see them, the avatars of the emotional spectrum. 7 avatars, 7 colors. And these entities have been waiting for our lanterns. That is where this issue will end. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Man, this Green Lantern series, it's really picking up. I'm really confused on John Stewart's ring, though. It doesn't really explain how the ring is still active, because if all emotion was kind of wiped away, theoretically, any entities he created with willpower should be wiped away as well. And it really doesn't explain it. I guess the only real explanation I could take away from it, I mean, maybe I'm missing something. Let me know if I am. But I think the easiest explanation for this is because he was ascended, because he was attached to the source wall, his ring is going to be different than other rings. Also, such a disappointment that we never continued with John Stewart being ascended and essentially becoming a god and being imbued with the source. I mean, come on, that was such a good story, and we kind of just dribbled out of it. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens next, because we have 7 colors, 7 avatars, and pretty much everybody that's aboard the ship is going to end up getting a ring, and they're going to go out there and they're going to fight the Starbreakers, united under the avatars, under the entities of the emotional spectrum. This is probably going to be the strongest lanterns that we have ever seen. 1 avatar, 1 ring bearer. The full power of the entity imbued into that singular ring. I cannot wait to see that artwork. The coloring, the pages, it's gonna be absolutely beautiful, and I am going to be here for it, strapped in, ready to go. But you guys, let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything going on with the Green Lantern Corps, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's gonna get you caught up on everything currently going on with the Green Lantern Corps. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. It's much like Patreon, having a bunch of different tiers, you get a bunch of different perks, but if you're not able to do that, if it's out of your price range, the free manner of helping us out and really driving the channel forward so we can put out more good content is just simply subscribing to the channel, liking this video, and making sure that you guys have hit that notification bell. With that being said, until the next breakdown.